I cannot believe it. The Bryant Bulldogs are headed to the Final Four. I told you. You didn't want to believe me. Barry Evans is inevitable.
Who else is in the quarterback?
Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, Nate, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Jack.
Jack, wake up.
Are we kidding?
Jack, wake up.
Jack, we have a show.
We're doing a show. It's 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's 7.
It's just a dream.
What?
Gavin, cue the intro.
What's going on, guys, and welcome into Afterthoughts.
He's butt naked on some of these shots. They're starting to storm Ryan.
The first problem is your best player of the season is Tyrese Maxey.
For my rankings, I kind of went off vibes a little bit.
I said they'd make it. I'm saying they're going to make it by a half game.
Marion Hampton is a dog. He's insane.
Sure, man.
Nice guy.
If you say so.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Afterthoughts, another episode. The Final Four is set. I'm Ryan Lombardi alongside my good friend Nathan Donnelly and a little bit tired Jack Haskell. But guys, the Final Four is set. Some are saying it's a little bit of a chalk Final Four. But what do you guys think? First initial thoughts, all one seeds into the Final Four.
Though it is kind of chalk madness, some would say, I think that makes for some really exciting matchups. I mean, you've got the best of the best in this Final Four. And I think the 4 teams in the Final Four are arguably the best 4 teams in college basketball currently.
I don't think it's arguably. I mean, they were noted as the top 4 teams, Jack. They're the one seeds.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
100%, Jack. These are the best 4 teams on the biggest stage playing for the biggest championship. As a basketball fan, this is everything I want.
Yeah, and as when you make your bracket, obviously you want upsets, you want Cinderella runs, but really when it comes down to it, the quality of basketball we're about to watch on Saturday night
is amazing.
It's top tier, and I don't think there's anything beating that.
I'm so excited for it. I really am. I'm excited to see who comes out on top.
Yeah. All right, so let's preview kind of our matchups. We got an SEC matchup, Auburn and Florida taking on each other in the Final Four. Just initial thoughts on that one.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for me because they played once. Florida won 90-81 on February 8th. This also solidifies there will not be 2 SEC teams in the national championship, which, if you remember our afterthought bracket, we had. So that is a little funny thing.
What bracket?
I don't remember bracket.
Yeah,
because we don't make predictions.
Yeah, we don't make predictions.
We're not a prediction show.
No.
No.
And Jack, what are you seeing from that Florida-Auburn matchup?
This is going to be a very good basketball game. I mean, like Nathan mentioned, last faced each other February 8th, but these 2 teams are very different than the last time they played each other. And I mean, even Janai Broome is a little banged up, so you've got to wonder, is that going to factor into Auburn's performance, or will some of the other guys step up?
And with that, I mean, these are 2 teams that know each other very well. They're used to playing each other year in, year out. They're in the SEC, so it's going to be a bloodbath of a game. Like, we already know that going into it. Auburn, obviously the top seed, but what we've been saying this entire tournament is Florida's the best put together team. All around, they might be number 1 in the tournament.
Yeah, and the tricky thing, one of the things that stands out to me is we talked about a matchup Auburn had earlier in the tournament with Michigan. They faced 2 Michigan 7-footers, Wolf and Vlad Golden. They're going to come up against that again against Florida. Florida has Alex Condon and Tom Hawk. So it will be tricky. We thought maybe those 7-footers from Michigan would be able to stop Janai Broome. Obviously they didn't. He made it to the Final Four. Let's see if the Florida 7-footers can do it.
And Walter Clayton has been phenomenal. I'd say the best player in the tournament thus far.
I would say as well.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So it's going to be really interesting because both of these teams, all of the teams in the Final Four, have now moved into top 10 offensive and defensive efficiency in KenPom. This is going to be really competitive, really fast-paced, really competitive basketball. I said competitive twice because it's going to be competitive. I can't say it anymore.
It is easily the best 4 teams in the country.
We have 2 of the top teams. Now, Nathan, if we don't make predictions on this show.
We don't make predictions.
Like, disclaimer, we do not make predictions.
We do not make predictions.
If you had to pick one of these teams, who would it be?
It's tricky. I talked about Janai Broome against the 7-footers, but to me, when it gets down to the Final 4 teams, and mainly for me, it's also the Elite 8, I use this kind of thought process. The winner of the game is going to have the best guards. And to me, and to you, I'd hope. Walter Clayton, we just said, it has been the best guard in the tournament. But Auburn also has some really good guards. They have Tahad Pettiford, Miles Kelly, Denver Jones. I like all three of those guys over Elijah Martin. For me, the key is Elijah Martin on Florida. Martin has been playing up to his standards, up to his averages. It's the Final Four, buddy.
Yeah. So
don't forget though, Elijah Martin has Final Four experience.
He does have Final Four experience.
Yes, that FAU team. Now with Elijah Martin, what does he need to do specifically to really get that Florida offense going?
Yeah, I believe I looked over the numbers. In the last game, he shot 0 of 4 from 3. He's got to knock down at least 2 threes to be able to space the floor and give a chance for those Florida 7-footers to be able to work in space and get them in space as well. Because Auburn also has a very good defensive big other than Janai Broom and Dylan Cardwell, who is an Auburn man. He's been there for, seems like, forever. He's really paid his dues.
I was going to say the same thing. You got to be able to space the floor because, as Nathan has told us countless times, and unfortunately St. John's proved him right, you cannot win a basketball game in March if you cannot shoot the 3-ball.
You have to be able to shoot the 3-ball well. We've seen Walter Clayton do it. We haven't. I've seen Elijah Martin do it well enough, but especially with Final Four experience, you have to play above your averages in order to beat the best teams. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and then Jack, same kind of question to you. Not making predictions, because we don't make predictions on this show.
This is not a prediction.
If you had to pick one of these teams, who would it be?
Ooh, that's really tough. For as good of a year as Auburn has had, with my pick for National Player of the Year in Janai Broom, I think Florida is just so well-rounded that they have enough to sneak past Auburn. And especially, like I mentioned, with Janai Broom being a little banged up, feels like he's been banged up all year. You got to wonder if that's going to play a factor.
Yeah. Now, for both of you guys, these teams have faced each other. They know each other. Year in, year out, they play each other. Does Florida beating Auburn have any type of advantage for either of these teams from the regular season?
I feel as though it always has an advantage, regardless of whether they're the same teams or not. You've already played this team before. You have an eye on some of their techniques and some of their schemes, especially offensively, because both of these teams, especially Florida, are kind of offensive-minded. We mentioned they're both top 10 defensive KenPom,
right.
But I would say of the two Final Four matchups, this is going to be the more offensive matchup. So to me, it always matters.
Yeah.
You have the film, you know the system, you know the players. This is going to be a really good game.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome matchup.
I agree. And even on the other side, I think we're going to have a great game. We have Duke with, Cooper Flagg, and we're going to talk about it later on this show, but the Cooper Flagg Sweepstakes will be starting shortly.
Full effect.
It will be in full effect starting soon. Then on the other side of things, you have the most beatable 1 seed.
Never going to live it down, am I?
A quote from Jack Haskell in Houston, who honestly, in my opinion, have looked like the most sound team out there this year.
I'm going to be 100% honest. This may come back to bite me in the rear end, but I think whoever wins this game wins the national championship.
Very, very well might, because they have to play a team that came from the best conference ever in college basketball.
I like that take.
I also don't mind the take, but on the other side of the bracket are two teams that are the most battle-tested college basketball has ever seen.
Absolutely, but you look at both of these teams. Houston can shoot the lights out. Puts on defensive masterclasses.
Yeah.
One of the best well-rounded teams in the last couple of years. Duke has, I'll say it again, the best 18-year-old to ever touch a basketball.
Here goes the guy with glasses.
They've got perimeter shooting. They also have defense. They've got Malik Brown back now, who's finally healthy, and he comes off the bench and produces heavy defensive efficiency. He's one of the best defenders in the nation. Both of these teams can beat either Florida or Auburn.
So Malik Brown, one of the best defenders I believe that's what you said.
Yes.
Do you know who the best defender in the nation is?
Who do you think
The
is
best
the
defensive
defender in the
nation. I'm sorry. The best defender in the nation, according to the metrics. I'm a metrics guy. I love numbers.
Big numbers, guy.
Loves the
Big
numbers.
12 Defensive Player of the Year, Joseph Tugler, plays for the Houston Cougars. He will have to lock down Cooper Flagg. That is the key to the game. I might be wrong in saying he'll guard Cooper Flagg. I really shouldn't be. I don't know why he wouldn't be. JoJo Tugler, JoJo, nickname by the way,
You guys are like that.
yeah, we're nickname basis.
Yeah.
Has to lock down Cooper Flagg in order for the Houston Cougars to be successful.
I like that take a lot. Now, this is really off topic, but anytime Jack gives a take, I almost I agree with it in the back of my head, but I almost just want to disagree just because it's Jack.
Just
giving a
because
take.
it's Jack.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the steam comes out of his ears and his face
It's
gets all red.
it's the reactions
Yeah.
like this is
It
what.
is. It's just really funny.
I just want to remind you all, who had McNeese beating Clemson?
Who had McNeese to the Final Four in their real bracket?
Who had
there's-
Bryant over Michigan
I'll-
State?
I will give some context here. There's a reason we didn't post our individual official brackets. I would have felt bad if we had to post his. He had McNeese to the Final Four.
He had Bryant winning it all.
Yes, in one of his, it's absurd.
It is absurd. You need to next year. Please make a real bracket. I think Nathan continues to ask for this. All right, but
continues.
back to the actual
Yes.
news. Duke in Houston got one of the most put together teams in Houston. Best defensive, one of the best offensive, and then you got Duke and Cooper Flagg.
Yes, and so the key for me here is the secondary guys will have to step up. I
100%.
talked about JoJo Tugler, guarding Cooper Flagg, and LJ Cryer will be able to lock down Con Knipple. But it's also true for the other side. LJ Cryer will probably be guarded heavily. He is their number one option. Milos Uzan shoots almost 45% from three. I had no idea. I literally looked at it today. I did like a triple take. He shoots almost 45% from three. He will have to play an excellent game in order for the Cougars to win.
And even looking at Duke, I mean, Con Knipple and Tyrese Proctor, they've got
have
to
to
bring
step
the
up.
perimeter shooting like they have been. I mean, Tyrese Proctor, I forget who it was against. Baylor went mental against
8
Baylor.
of 9 from three. He really hasn't
Who
had
does
an
that?
excellent game
This
since
is
then.
this is
No.
Tyrese Proctor we're talking
Yeah,
about.
He really hasn't had an excellent game since then. He doesn't have to shoot 8 for 9, but he'll have to shoot from three pretty well and be able to play make as well for Duke.
Now, I want to ask you two a quick question. If Duke does make the national championship game, not even them winning the national championship, does that debunk the talks of the ACC being an irrelevant conference?
No, because you have one top team. I mean, when you look at the Big East back just a few years ago, the Big East was really uncompetitive. Those years that Villanova went on an absolute tear when they won the Big East tournament in 2018, then went on to win the national championship. They lost in the Big East tournament championship game to Seton Hall in 2016. Seton Hall was a first-round exit as a 5 seed to 12 seed to Gonzaga. So when you look at the Big East in those days, it was a very fraudulent Big East. Just because Villanova went on to win the national championship 2 out of the 3 seasons, nobody else was really competing. You had a few good Marquette teams, few good Seton Hall teams, but nobody was really up there.
You want to know how you fix the Big East? Add Syracuse back.
No.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
It
Why?
does not. The ACC still was horrible. The ACC, I believe, the Duke was the only team to win a tournament game in the ACC, right?
Correct.
Creighton
Yeah, and
wiped
Creighton
the
moved on.
floor with Louisville
And
McNeese-
Clemson?
Yeah.
That was bad.
They didn't even look like a
I
basketball
remember
team.
tweeting out as Clemson was getting
Yeah.
blown out. I remember tweeting out and was like, "This just shows that the ACC is a fraudulent conference."
I played modified basketball for 1 season in the 8th grade, and I think that team was better than Clemson.
I don't. Yeah, it's not relevant, and I don't think so. Do you really think that?
That Clemson performance was egregious.
Do you think your 8th grade basketball
Would
team
score
would have been
14
better?
points on McNeese in one half.
Shout out Jaden Jones. I 100%
Oh my
do.
goodness, this guy. All right, something to note with all of these 4 teams, all of them, their head coach has never gone to the Final Four, so
Never.
pretty cool for them.
Yeah.
So really, not experience on the coaching side won't really play a factor in this one. The Final Four is a different atmosphere. You have people from all over who are coming to San Antonio. It's a hostile atmosphere, but it's not as much just the team fans. It's a lot of just college basketball fans in general.
Yes, it also, I don't want to kind of dismay what you were saying, it also is the team fans. 3 of these teams are within 1,000 miles of the stadium. But in general, it will be just like majority in general basketball fans. Also, the Houston Cougars, and it's in the same state.
It might be a red out.
It might be a red out,
it definitely
but
could
it
be.
also didn't matter for Louisville, did it?
No, it didn't.
Louisville got the floor wiped with them. Like it did not matter for Louisville.
No.
And I was guilty of taking Louisville in my bracket.
Yep, 'cause the bracket was
And on this show, I remember sitting in the room making our bracket, and I go, Creighton over Louisville, and you tried to argue with me, and I said Creighton over Louisville.
Austin
and
Peterson.
Creighton almost beat Auburn, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on off the Final Four. A little bit of coaching drama.
I argue,
We talked about it last week.
I argue the coaches portal is almost or as equally entertaining as the players portal.
I think it's more entertaining. I just love it
Honestly,
so much.
I think it's more entertaining just because of Kevin.
Like you have coaches swapping teams.
Swapping teams.
Like
Yeah.
last year,
Full-on
you look at
swapping.
Pat Kelsey going to Louisville,
Yeah.
and the Louisville coach, I'm blanking on his name right now, going to Charleston. It's almost like a trade.
Yeah, full-on
Yeah.
swapping teams.
Yeah, it's absurd. Also, I mean, Richard Pitino is now in the Big East as well. He just took a job there with Xavier. So now you got Rick and Richard Pitino both in the same conference, coaching against each other twice a year, which is just peak entertainment
Yeah,
for the
and
Big East.
even in our mighty Atlantic 10, there's been a lot of coaching changes too.
Yeah, if we could sit here and cover all them, but I think the big one, the most drama, Kevin Willard to Villanova.
Yeah, I think this all can be summed up in a couple sentences here. Kevin Willard, post-game, after his loss, was quoted saying, "I don't know what I'm going to do." And I saw that post on Twitter. I went into the comments, scrolled down. Everybody was like, "You know what you're going to do.
Yes,
You
everybody
know
knew.
what's happening.
Everybody knew.
Stop playing the game. Like, you know what's happening. But at least be transparent with the fan base.
That was
paying
my
you.
biggest problem. Like Will Wade handled this better than anyone I've ever seen.
Excellently.
He knew that he was in talks with NC State. He probably knew, yeah, I'm taking the NC State job.
I'm going to
And
the
how
Wolfpack.
could you not?
And he told his guys, he was transparent with them, and he even said, some of you might even be able to come with me.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
fully transparent and cooperative with both programs, the one he was leaving and the one he was going to.
And he was transparent with not only his players and his coaching staff, but with the media too.
But something with Willard, though, I almost feel for him in a way because the guys who hired him at Maryland were no longer there by like the end of this season, and it was as simple as Willard wanting to stay instead of traveling on Christmas Day, stay overnight on Christmas Day and spend it with the team all together. Instead, they make him travel, and they said, "Oh, we can't afford that." Like, it was almost as that, like, you almost feel for him. Like, he can't even do stuff with his team. And we know how storied of a program the Villanova Wildcats are. How could you not want to go there?
How could you not? You owe it to the fans, the fan base, and the people paying your NIL collective
Yeah.
to communicate with them.
I
That is the one thing for me. Everything you said was true.
Yeah.
Like, it's 100% true. Just like, you gotta be the bigger man.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
You have to be cooperative with everybody who, I hate using the phrase paying your salary. They are. They kind of are. They're paying your salary and like the players. Like you have to talk them. You have to talk them through the whole process, but at least give them what they're owed. That's all.
Yeah. All right. I'm just checking the time, and it looks like it's past Jack's bedtime. So,
It
Jack,
is.
we're going to send you to bed.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break here on Afterthoughts, but more to come. We have an exciting MLB segment coming up. Torpedo bats.
I've been loving the season.
Torpedo bats have been a big, a lot of question marks around them. So we're going to talk about that next here. Stay with us here on Afterthoughts.
We're going to do a complete redraft. Maybe by the end of it, we'll kind of breeze through these picks. But at least for now, I think we can start. We can talk about these picks a little bit and why. Let's start with the Bears at 1. I have them staying, taking Caleb Williams, just doubling down on the pick they took. I think he could develop into something really great if they give him this O-line that they just got in free agency. I think they may as well just stick with Caleb Williams. I know Jaden Daniels played better this year, but what can you say, you know?
Yeah,
I to be a little different, I took Jaden Daniels with the number 1 for the
And
Bears.
It's respectable. It is.
I think there's a definite possibility that Dan Quinn was a strong reason for Jaden Daniels' success on the Commanders, and there's a chance he might not see as much success for the Bears.
Right.
And maybe, Caleb Williams could flip into that spot, but I don't know. Jaden Daniels obviously had the better year. I think if you just want to go off of who had the better year, it's
that's
Jaden
what I've been
Daniels.
doing for a lot of the players. I mean, I guess I'm going a little bit on like their ceiling, how good they can be in the future.
Caleb Williams definitely has a very high ceiling. Definitely.
I mean, not that Jaden Daniels doesn't. I just think in the scheme that it is, I think either way, whether Caleb Williams goes to the Commanders or Jaden Daniels goes to the Bears, I think it is what it is. Like it could go either way.
Honestly, there's a strong chance that the owner of both teams, given what they know now, would still double down with what they've got anyways. So.
And then I'll take Jaden Daniels at 2. I mean, it's not much of a redraft yet. So.
Yeah, and same thing. I'm gonna go Caleb Williams at 2 for the Commanders.
We just talked about it. Not much more to say there. I mean, obviously Jaden Daniels just fits so well in this Commander scheme. It'd be interesting to see what would have happened, but I don't think either team would ever go back on their picks. But I do think the Patriots go a separate way here. I do think, just based on success, I think the Patriots go with Bo Nix here at 3 over Drake May.
I think if you were at like a press conference and you asked, the Patriots if they would change anything about their quarterback situation, they'd be, they'd give the political answer. They'd say, "Oh, we're happy with Drake May, everything."
Yeah,
but
I mean they should be, but still.
They have Bo Nix posters up in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
Okay, they wish they had picked Bo Nix for sure.
Welcome back to Afterthoughts. Ryan Lombardi alongside Ryan Adio. Now Gavin Watson here. My Inside the Inning guys join the show because we're going to talk about some MLB news. Torpedo bats have been a big thing. Right now we're going to send it over to our Torpedo bat lead analyst, Noah Randall. He's going to explain a bit more on torpedo bats. Noah, take it away.
A torpedo bat, named due to its shape resembling that of a torpedo, is a customized bat that replaces the standard look of a regular bat with more wood in the barrel shifted closer to the hands of the batter. Some argue it's legal, but I would argue that it's complete garbage. My Brewers were cheated this past weekend because the Yankees are frauds. And I will not rest until everyone knows how fraudulent the New York Yankees are. The Brewers will prevail. Milwaukee still going to the series. And anyway, that's what a torpedo bat is.
In other news, the Brewers were defeated by the Royals last night, 11-1.
Is he okay?
Do they have a lot of torpedo bats on the Royals? I don't know.
I don't know, but the Brewers lost their 4th in a row, and they gave up double-digit runs. I don't think it was the Yankees. I think the Brewers are just an incompetent baseball team.
Yeah.
Anyways, that seemed a little biased. Gavin, you got a little bit more for us on torpedo bats?
Yeah, Yankees, they brought in an MIT physicist to help these players.
I think he worked at NASA, too.
He also worked at NASA at one point. This guy has been around the block. He came in and thought of the idea of, hey, what if we move the barrel to where the ball is hit?
Which, honestly, like hearing about it, I can't believe this wasn't thought of sooner.
Baseball's been around for how many
That's what I'm
years?
saying. Like, why is it just, 2025, let's come up with torpedo bats? Obviously, I know it was around last year, but...
in the working, but yeah, I mean... I'm shocked that it's been 100 years of baseball and there's been...
No one thought about this.
No one's thought, hey, let's change the design? I don't know.
This guy worked at MIT and NASA, and somehow he works for the Yankees? Are we sure this isn't collusion?
Hey,
I mean, it sounds a little fishy.
It's the new era of baseball. Nerds in baseball. It's the era of it. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Torpedo bats? Like, you guys are both Yankees fans. You tell me what you think.
I mean, I love it. When I saw Anthony Volpe on opening day in his first at-bat hit a jam shot home run to right field, I was like, that's weird. That's fishy. And then the next day, it's like, oh yeah, like Anthony Volpe's barrel is actually lower than the normal barrel, and I was like, that makes sense now.
Yeah, it is a little weird that they waited until like after the game to say something.
I guess they just didn't know.
Hey, it worked. I mean, why make it not a secret and give it to all the other teams?
I mean, this is something the Yankees are going to use. It's worked for them clearly. I mean, they put up 36 runs in 3 games versus
15
the Brewers.
home runs in 3 games as well.
Leading the league. Their plus minus run differential plus 21 on the year.
In 3 games.
In 3 games. 15 homers in 3 games.
That's just ridiculous.
It's actually unbelievable. I won't lie. Like, it does make you think. I mean, is it a little fishy? I mean,
so for me, here's the way I think about it. The Yankees, they went to the MLB and said, "Hey, we have this bat. We want to use it." The MLB said, "Thumbs up. You're good to go." My second point is, Michael Kay highlighted this during a game. Do you really think Yes and the Yankees are going to be like, "Yeah, Michael, go ahead. Go talk about the bats that are cheating."
Yeah. No, I get it.
Great idea. Thanks.
And
now we can't use
And
them.
it's not just the Yankees. There is a list of players out there
And it's getting
from
bigger.
multiple teams with torpedo bats.
Yeah.
They're going to spend all kinds of money to go and get these things. But I think it's good for the game.
Yeah.
People
100%.
like runs. Home runs create runs.
Yep.
And I think it's good for the game. When you think back to like the 80s when baseball was kind of dying, and then there was the home run race between McGuire and Sosa. Obviously, both were using performance-enhancing drugs, and
Save baseball.
it saved
though.
baseball.
Still save baseball for
the
for what
steroid
it's worth.
era saved baseball. So I'm not saying baseball is dying right now, but people like home runs. 2019, I think MLB saw, or 2018, one of those years, MLB saw a record-breaking number of home runs. And it's not even just home runs, it's more runs being scored, which is good for the game.
I think as well, you're looking at 2026 could potentially be a lockout by the owners. The CBA is up. Building as many fans who are going to try to push this forward and keep the game going. I think building fans now is going to be important, especially down the line when those negotiations start.
Yeah, and it's after what happened in 2023 with the CBA, and we missed like a month of spring training. You have concerns, you have question marks, you're a little nervous about it, about the deals moving forward.
I think it's good in one sense, bad in the other. I know a lot of people are really up in arms about the torpedo bats. I mean, I'm the only non-Yankees fan on the table right now.
Ryan's the only one in this panel that doesn't have a direct.
Why are you up in arms about it?
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm up in
Okay.
arms. I'm here and there about it. I mean, it feels a little cheap, but it's also, hey, anyone can use this. It's not just the bats that are hitting the home runs. It's the players.
Yeah,
realistically,
it's the same thing I talk about, like when people are like, "Oh, Barry Bonds is a cheater.
Yeah.
He doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame." I mean, Barry Bonds broke the home run record.
Still
Look
had
at
to
his
hit.
numbers before and after. He was still an over 300 hitter. Like it doesn't change his capability of hitting the baseball. It's just maybe the capability of how far he hits the baseball.
yeah. A lot of players did steroids, but none of them were Barry Bonds. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of players use the torpedo bats. None of them are Aaron Judge. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. But I mean, it is good for the game of baseball. You said it. More home runs, more fun, more people watching.
Yeah. Influx DRAs, everything. People love it. People absolutely love it. All right, so moving on from torpedo bats, because I think that was like the biggest storyline. But some other storylines coming out of opening day weekend. Let's do our winners and losers segment from opening day. Who wants to share the first one?
Are we starting winners?
Let's start with winners.
Let's start
All right.
on top. Let's keep the
On a positive,
positivity.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, going along with the torpedo bats,
Let's go. Let's start there. Start
Staying
with
on
your
that
Yankees.
topic.
the winners are the Yankees.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty evident to say.
3-0, first in the AL East. I mean,
Unbelievable
What more
showing.
can you want? What more can you ask?
No, I mean, not much. And even when you look at the whole weekend as a whole, I mean, Carlos Rodon gave you some really good innings. Max Fried looked really good. Obviously, the defense, which was just wild. That game was wild. The Yankees had like 4 errors.
Yeah.
Max Fried's only gave up like 2 earned runs in 5 innings, or 4 2/3.
4 2/3. Yeah.
So you got to feel good about that. And even then, the Stroh show yesterday,
Yeah,
or
I
Sunday, was really good.
That's a relief for a lot of Yankees fans. That was kind of a wild card going into the year.
A lot of people thought he was going to get moved.
He could get moved. He could
Right.
get cut. Yankees have some injuries. They need guys to fill that rotation. And Stroh's picked up the ball and been pretty good so far. I mean, 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Not great, but not a horrible showing either.
No.
Especially on the backdrop of last season for Marcus Stroman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to say it. I was a doubter of the Yankees. It is what it is.
Can you
But
believe
now-
this guy?
I mean, look, it's early in the season, all right? Anything could happen.
Aaron Judge had like 2 at-bats, and Ryan
he's
was
washed.
like,
No.
he's washed.
No, this is a
Aaron
fake
Judge is
narrative.
washed. It's
no,
not.
We're not doing this.
It's not. Aaron Judge had 6 extra base hits this weekend. I don't want to hear it
He
from
had
you.
11. He has a 2.4.
I know
OPS right now.
He's
That is
washed.
insane.
Gavin, he's washed.
Those are numbers we haven't seen.
Where
He's
is this
washed.
coming from? I never said this.
He said it. He said it. Don't
I
let
said
him
this
fool you. He said
last season at the beginning of the season because if you go back and look
he
at
said
the numbers,
2 at-bats in, Ryan Adio said Aaron Judge is
Yeah,
washed.
he said he's washed.
That's what he said.
I also
And don't let him tell you otherwise.
I do want to point out
getting
Can we
bullied.
mute his mic?
all right.
from
You got
the
no one.
pitching
Jack isn't here, so now you get to bully me. Come on, what is this?
on the pitching side, outside of the starters, besides Carlos Carrasco and Devin Williams, every other Yankees reliever has not allowed a run in almost
That's
3 innings of work
insane.
for each of them. It's if you would have told me the bullpen would have been this good through opening weekend, I don't think I would have believed you.
No, and the bullpen definitely had some question marks and concerns. Obviously, Luke Weaver looked great. Devin Williams looked strong at the start, and then it got interesting as it went on. But he was able to work out of it. But also, if you told me last year that Carlos Carrasco was going to be in our bullpen, I'd just
To be a New York Yankee
what?
in general.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just funny stuff all around. But I think the bullpen really locked in. We're really buying way too much into it. We're only 3 games in, but I think this is another team that could be a World Series favorite.
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to move on to a team that's not only 3 games in, we can talk about the Dodgers.
Yes.
6-0. They went to Japan, swept the Cubs in a 2-game series, came back home, swept the Tigers in a 3-game series, and won last night against the Braves. They're 6-0.
Yeah.
I mean, they're second in the most home runs hit so far this year, only behind the New York Yankees. And it's not been one guy either.
Yeah.
It's been the whole staff. It's been the whole team has really stepped up.
I would say who could have predicted this, but I think everyone could
Yeah.
have predicted that
When
the Dodgers
we
were gonna
did
be really
our
good.
opening day starting pitchers draft, if we did that, if we just did all starters, I think all 5 of the starting
Yeah.
rotation for
Would've
the
been the
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
Maybe not one, which I think the one loser for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it's probably way too early. But just this weekend, Roki Sasaki just bad showing.
Yeah, I mean, 4 2/3 innings. The big problem for him so far has been command and commanding the ball. I mean, he's had numerous walks in both of his 2 starts now. But again, it's his first year coming over from Japan. The ball is different. The mound is different. The hitters are different. Give it time.
Yeah, definitely. Something his agent or manager was worried about was his emotional, how he was going to handle his emotions in a big market. Of course, he chooses arguably the biggest market
yeah.
outside of the Yankees, and there's
I think they're
a
the biggest
visual of
market
him
as well, though,
crying.
still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So
It is
he
a
went out
little
there.
heartbreaking. I won't lie.
Yeah.
but
yeah.
2 outings that didn't necessarily go well
Yeah.
for him. But I also saw a clip of Miguel Rojas, the Dodgers second baseman, hyping him up on the mound and saying, we got you, relax, put it over the plate, let him hit it. You got a great defense. So
Right.
I'm not too worried. Another thing I do want to point out is the Dodgers have only had Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman for 3 of their 6 games. Those are 2 team leaders, 2 guys who are legit and are 2 of the Dodgers' best players. They've only had them 3 games. Obviously, Mookie Betts has dealt with a long-term illness, and Freddie Freeman with just an absolute hilarious story of slipping in the shower and rolling his ankle, and now he's day-to-day. I mean, the fact the Dodgers are putting up 29 runs without Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, insane.
Look, I know it's they've only played a few games. We're 4 games into the season. Could we be witnessing one of the greatest teams in MLB history?
We could be witnessing one of the greatest dynasties.
Yes. I mean,
now that does pose a question: is it ethical to be buying championships?
I would say no, but I know, Gavin, you have a different opinion on this. I don't think that you should be able to buy players for 20 years and put off the money and
the game has the rules the way they're set.
Yeah,
right.
And currently the Dodgers are just doing
taking
it better.
advantage of it.
They're doing it better, and I would agree with that. But also just with the way it is, I mean, you look at the Yankees; they're not really buying their championships.
Yeah.
Most of the Yankees lineup is homegrown kids and young kids that they have faith in.
I'd argue, though, still that the Dodgers are not just simply buying their team. They still do have a lot of homegrown
true.
talent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Miggy Rowe came back. He was a guy who was with them from the beginning. Muncy is somebody they developed through minor leagues. Chris Taylor. Clayton Kershaw, he's on the IL. Dustin May, he's starting tonight. He's been there his whole career. There's numbers of guys who are Dodgers who are still in the lineup, and they've
Right.
developed up to this point. So I don't think the narrative of, oh, they're buying their team is necessarily completely true.
But they did buy Shohei Ohtani. They did
Yep.
buy Freddie Freeman. They
Yep.
had Mookie Betts, and they
Yep.
signed him to a long-term deal. All their starting pitchers, Yamamoto.
How did they get Mookie Betts?
They traded for him.
With what? Homegrown talent?
Yes.
Fair.
But then as soon as he became a Dodger, they signed him to a multi-million-dollar contract. And
The Red Sox walked away from the table. What do you want the Dodgers to do? They
I
made a
don't know.
move and got their guy. I mean,
I know. I'm just saying it's more
Yeah.
bought talent.
I can't blame them. What they're doing is brilliant.
No,
obviously,
yeah, it's not.
but
It's not.
yeah.
It's just like, and it's fine. It's just like, yeah, they have more money, and it sucks.
I think it's a narrative that's a little overplayed, in my opinion.
Okay.
But, I think we should just move on from
Yeah,
LA.
let's move over. Let's
go
move over
a
to the
true-
losers.
Or I was going to say a true team that is homegrown for the most part in the Orioles.
We're doing all
Just-
the winners.
I want to talk about real quick Tyler O'Neill, his
Yeah.
6th straight opening day with a home run on opening day. I mean, that's
Pretty
impressive
cool.
as it comes.
It's pretty cool.
Does he hit? Is he like a home run guy?
He's a
any
good
other
hitter,
time
but he
besides,
He hits maybe 20 to 30 a year though. Like
Yeah.
he's not hitting 40 plus home runs.
he's just insanely good
Yeah.
on opening day. Apparently, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, the Orioles themselves, I thought played really well opening week.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they're in the winners category for a
For a
reason. It's
reason.
not just Tyler O'Neill, but yeah.
7 hitters hit above 250 this weekend. I mean, you're going to win some ball games when that happens.
Right. All right, let's move on to the loser section. Starting with the 0-5 Atlanta Braves. Man, really, things have really taken a turn. When you remember back to last year and how their season ended, they lose to the Mets. In like that play-in, it was like weird. Someone's got to win.
They both needed one win.
Yeah.
One
They
win
both
and they-
got
they-
it. Yeah.
So they lose one of the Mets there. Then they get swept in against San Diego.
Yeah, which San Diego was great in the playoffs.
San Diego's-
don't get
San
me
Diego,
wrong.
great
Probably
team.
the best team.
And then
Going
they
in.
start this year in San Diego. They lose 4 to them. And now they're on their West Coast trip early on, and they're playing the Dodgers. They lose to the Dodgers last night. They are 0-5 to start the season. It was just announced yesterday that Jurickson Profar has been suspended 80 games for PEDs.
And really, he was one of their better hitters. 200 batting average, but still one of their better hitters. I think he was top 2 or 3 on the team in batting average. And, this has a lot more effect than just right now, in this moment, they'll miss some Frady games.
Right.
He's now ineligible for the playoffs. If the Braves make a playoff push, he will not be there for that push. He will be out until at least the All-Star break here now. So it's insult added on to the injuries that they already have, and with Acuna working his way back and Verdugo still not up to par yet to play in the
Strider
big
as
leagues.
well.
It's just one of those things where when one thing's going wrong,
And
everything.
this was a Braves team we just saw plagued with injuries last year,
Yeah.
and it's just not getting any easier for them.
No.
I mean, I know it's only 5 games in, but I would love to talk about how the Braves are not doing well, especially as a Mets fan. I'll say that first and foremost. Terrible free agency. I think we can agree
Yeah,
with
we
that.
had that was
Yeah.
an inside the innings topic.
Yeah,
a lot of the
100%.
weeks.
Yeah.
They didn't really do a whole lot.
They didn't do a whole lot of anything.
No.
No, they didn't bring anybody big in. They're kind of
And the
trusting.
guy they did bring in is now on the 80-game suspension list.
exactly.
Their one big free agent
And
is
then
gone.
their other
Wiped away.
guy they brought in, nobody wanted, and
Yeah.
they just needed an outfielder, so they got Verdugo.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, I like Brian De La Cruz. That's
Yeah, I mean,
that
there
was
was
the
no
free
other
agent
notable
move.
free agents for the Braves in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So when you get rid of a lot of your talent, you don't really bring anybody in. And I honestly, when opening day was starting, there were a lot of people that were like, Braves are one of the best teams in the league.
I saw some people ranking them second in the league.
Yeah, like World Series number, like predictions, which is unbelievable. And I was saying, this is probably the most
Slow
overhyped
it down,
team.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're really seeing it play out. I mean, it's early. Don't get me wrong. They could still make a great comeback, but I love to see it so far.
Let's move
I'll
on to
tell
a
you
team
what.
that nobody has any kind of hype in.
Fair enough.
Not even their own grounds crew
The
has hype in them.
loser team.
The
Yeah.
loser
The-
team of loser teams, and that's the Chicago White Sox. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's
the greatest
really
of all
bad.
time in
I don't even
losing.
want to talk about them too much, but I don't know if anybody saw.
Oh
there was
my
a picture floating around.
Yeah,
there
there
it is
we
on
go.
the
Thank
screen. The White Sox struggled to get their tarp on the field and had to use little tarps to then cover their field. You are a professional baseball team. Not even minor league baseball teams are doing that.
No, I mean, I've seen minor league baseball teams do a lot better.
Yeah.
I've interned with a minor league baseball team. I have been responsible for putting the tarp on the field. It is not that hard to get the tarp on the field.
That's almost disrespectful
Yeah,
to look at. I won't lie to
Ship
you.
me out there. I can help them out. Like, pay me whatever you want. I'll help you out.
We don't even need to talk about them. They're the worst team. We knew they were going to be the worst team. Moving on, our last point. I'm sorry, Noah Randall, our big loser.
We're going to have to hit
Nestor
Are we
Cortez.
sorry? I don't really know.
Because I'm a Yankee fan. I feel bad. But, dude, has it ever happened before where it was
No.
3 pitches,
I'm
3
pretty
home
sure
runs?
it was one of the worst, if not the worst, pitching performance in
He
MLB history.
walked like 7 guys, gave up like 4 or 5 home runs.
And
It
it's
was bad.
Even funnier that it's against his previous team.
And
Yes.
Of note, his last 3 appearances in games that actually matter, so playoffs and regular season, it was this game, 3 pitches, 3 homers. He had a relief appearance in Game 3 of the World Series, pitched fine, great, cool. Prior start before that, he came in, threw 2 pitches, gave up the walk-off homer to Freddie Freeman, game over.
Walk-off grand slam.
Walk-off grand slam. So 5 pitches, 4 home runs, besides that middle Game 3.
Do you know his ERA?
I think it's got to be like 99.
It's a 36.
Yeah.
36.0. That is unbelievable. If you were trying to get that number, I don't think you could. Honestly, that's unbelievable. I won't lie. Like,
No, I feel bad for the guy. It stinks. It sucks. It really does. All right, more to come here on Afterthoughts. We'll get Austin and James, our above the rim guys, on here. We'll talk about some NBA news. That the draft is coming up, and the Cooper Flagg
Sweepstakes.
The Cooper Flagg Sweepstakes is coming up soon. So stay with us here on Afterthoughts.
And our special guest for this week, St. Bonaventure baseball pitcher, James Capilupo. James, how are you doing?
Doing great. Glad to be on here with you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
The first guest of the show. I'm excited.
Of many, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess let's just start off with the big story here, the leg kick. Where did it come from? When did you start doing it? Like, kind of what's the backstory behind the leg kick?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I've always had kind of a bigger leg kick. Just even growing up, like being a younger guy, I've always kind of had more of a herky-jerky motion. I guess, like, I've always just tried to throw as hard as I can. I've never really been, like, the biggest guy. Now that I'm kind of lifting weights, I'm a little bigger, like, size-wise, but height-wise, still not super big. Wasn't really blessed with a super strong arm, so kind of had to do, like, more of extra things to kind of try to create some more power. And it's been effective so far. I'm also super mobile, so like it just kind of comes naturally. It doesn't feel like it's like forced. It kind of flows naturally. Even though it might look uncomfortable to a lot of people, it goes pretty naturally. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Is there like a specific pitcher you watched like growing up or something that had like a leg kick, or like did you watch someone? Did you get it from like a coach or something?
I don't even think so. I think I've just always been just working on velocity and like throwing pens, especially as I was getting older on like the radar gun and stuff. And I would just kind of notice the more, the higher the leg kick went up, the harder the gun read. So I was like, just going to produce as much velocity as possible. So it just kind of kept slowly getting higher and higher. And now it's kind of staying at the same spot.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Much higher.
Now, for a little bit of a context, the Bonnies played Tennessee in a 3-game series from March 9th through 11th, and you started one of those games. And with the game being on national television, the whole world saw the leg kick.
Right.
I mean, you were on the MLB's official social media pages, John Boy, Pitching Ninja, a bunch of other pages that, if we listed all of them, we'd be here for a while.
Just big in the world of baseball.
Yeah, right. I mean, just like, what are your general reactions to just being prominently featured in the national spotlight like that?
I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously would have liked a little bit of a different result of the game, but it was a real positive. The game finishes up and you're not feeling the best, but then it's like you open your phone and you just come bombarded with all these messages from these cool places, and it's like it's kind of that moment where you just kind of stop and look around and you're like, this is a journey, and this is a pretty cool moment within the journey, and it's kind of really cool to see where the game can take you. And sometimes you feel like you're very small, you just want to.
And welcome back to Afterthoughts. Ryan Lombardi, James Derrick, and Austin Townley. Austin, it looks like you're dressed for a funeral.
Well,
Are you okay? You okay, man?
Yeah, the funeral of the Phoenix Suns season, it's basically over. Kevin Durant has been ruled out for a minimum of a week, and you might as well shut him down for the year because This season is garbage.
Yeah. And I think I told you this a few weeks back on this show that the Suns were not going to make the playoffs, that they were a joke of a team.
I think I did as well.
Yeah.
I also said that.
Yeah, like,
Listen.
you had a lot of false hope. We should honestly just take that jersey down. I think it's just disrespectful that it's hanging up.
Don't disrespect Book.
I think it's disrespectful.
That's the man.
I think it's disrespectful. Oh my God, another one? Dude, why do we have double
don't
Suns
do this.
jersey?
Don't do this. I was not.
We truly are at the Phoenix Suns funeral right now.
Is this what we're doing? Like, are we like supposed to be like mourning the dead?
Well, we can mourn because their season is over. I was not anticipating Kevin Durant to be out at the end of the year. I mean, come on. Were you anticipating it? Were you anticipating it?
Were you
No.
anticipating the Suns to be
A Kevin Durant injury is almost a lock every season. So.
Okay. All right. Well,
He's got paper ankles.
Dude, the guy has been so injury prone for the last 10 years.
yeah, but like, you know what? It's Kevin Durant at the end of the day. If you have him on your team, he's going to give you buckets and he's going to help you
When he
lead
actually
into
sees the
playoffs.
floor.
When he sees the floor. He saw the floor most of the time this season, I will
No, he
say.
did. And with the Suns, he's played a lot more than he did
Yeah.
with like the Nets and so on. But
Yeah, the Sun season is really over, in my opinion. We are out of the play-in game right now by a game. They play the Milwaukee Bucks as we speak, and they're going to lose because Kevin Durant's not playing, Bradley Beal is not playing, and Devin Booker cannot do it all himself, man.
so what you're saying is Devin Booker's not the guy.
No, he's the guy.
You heard that too, right?
The team built
Devin
around
Booker
him.
is not the guy per Austin Town.
Per Austin Town.
That is not what I said. That is not what I said. That is not what I said. No, time out. I said he can't do it all himself because the
Because he's
team,
not the guy.
No, because the team built around him is trash. What do you want him to do? He can't average 50 a game.
If LeBron was on that team would go to the finals.
Speaking of LeBron, that is the greatest 18-year-old ever to ever touch a basketball, or Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, or Wilt Chamberlain, not Cooper Flagg. Boys, who's getting Cooper Flagg?
The Cooper Flagg sweepstakes is beginning.
Yes.
Jack Haskell is just
Well, it's a horrible take. I'm sorry,
Yeah, it
Jack.
is. It really
you
is.
should have never doubled down on saying Cooper Flagg is the greatest 18-year-old
Yeah, I would have
to
just
touch a
forgotten it,
basketball.
moved on, but he didn't. But no, the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes is definitely there. I see you guys have your list. It's the Wizards have the best chance right now.
Yes.
And then you have the Jazz, the Charlotte Hornets, New Orleans Pelicans, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Brooklyn Nets.
That's your lottery right now, 1 through 6.
Yep.
One important thing to note, the Sixers sitting at 5 right now, they traded that pick to the Thunder, and it is top 6 protected. If this stays top 6, then the Sixers keep it. But I don't even want to imagine what the Thunder could do if they have another top 10 pick. Actually, I'll shoot some images into your mind right now.
Man.
They could pick up, after a couple mock drafts looking through, Trey Johnson could be available for the Thunder. Derek Queen out of Maryland.
Would be a great pick.
Come on, Malawach out of Duke. Con Knipple out of Duke.
Oh my
and
goodness.
even some mock drafts have Jeremiah Fears available as well. Those are all players that the Thunder could pick up if this pick goes outside the top
I feel like
6.
this draft class is pretty strong to begin with. Like the college players that are coming through right now are like ready to be pro.
This is definitely the best class since I would say 2020, 21 maybe. Last year's wasn't the greatest. I mean, Zachary Ritz-O'Shea is playing very well right now as of late, and he's probably been the most consistent rookie. I don't know if he's going to win Rookie of the Year, though, just because the voting on that's so weird. It's kind of like who gets the most media attention basically wins the Rookie of the Year every time. Yeah. And, this year, this upcoming draft, it is stacked. And the Thunder is a team where I don't want to get a top 5, top 6 pick. Never, ever for the next 6-7 years, I don't want the Thunder to get a top 10 pick. They don't need it. They literally don't need it.
No, they don't.
Their rookies would go to the G League and they wouldn't do anything productive.
Yeah, I'll just pick a name. Jeremiah Fears would be a G League legend. Maybe 50 a game, you think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do? Trade their rookies for a better player? You don't need a better player. Like, your team is stacked. You have 3 All-Stars. Chet will be an All-Star when he's healthy for one full season. It's ridiculous.
Where do you guys see the draft falling? Like, who do you think is going to have the first overall pick?
I have a weird feeling it's going to be the Sixers. I have a really, really weird feeling the Philadelphia 76ers
just getting lucky with the lottery?
Yeah, I mean, the storyline adds up. LeBron came on Pat McAfee, kind of said, that lottery's rigged. No coincidence, LeBron went to Cleveland. DeAndre Ayton went to Phoenix. Derrick Rose to Chicago. I mean, these things happen naturally, but are they really natural?
James, do you buy this?
I don't know. Cooper Flagg going to the Sixers, that'd be nice. I don't know if it will be rigged in that sense, but I will say,
why wouldn't he go to like the Hornets then if it's rigged?
They've made the draft a little bit more tank proof. If you are going to finish in the top 5, they all have the same odds of getting number 1. They could get very lucky. They just need to stay in that top 5. The Sixers, I think, are doing the best they can to stay inside that top 5 right now.
I mean, and then the Nets are out here like still winning games, and it's ridiculous.
The Brooklyn Nets make no sense to me.
No, there's
any sense.
There's a lack of leadership within the Brooklyn Nets organization.
100%.
There's a reason Kyrie requested to be traded. There's a reason that James Harden, that big 3 was supposed to be the future.
That big 3 was
People said,
supposed to be...
Brooklyn Nets win the championship. They only ended up playing 20 games together.
Yeah.
Injury riddled, Kyrie just sitting out because he simply just did not want to play basketball. All of it was just a mess, and it's because there is a lack of leadership in the Brooklyn Nets organization.
Oh, for sure. And moving forward, came out today that the Brooklyn Nets are targeting Giannis Antetokounmpo, making him their number 1 priority. In my eyes, that's idiotic. Why would you do that? If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, keep your picks, draft well, develop those young guys, maybe move Cam Thomas, maybe move Cam Johnson, because those are guys that have a bigger salary and have good trade value.
And don't forget how many picks the Nets have going into this draft after the way they have sold, especially in the McCollum Bridges trade. They have a lot of first-rounders from the Knicks. So, the Nets moving forward have the most potential to be good, and they need to stop doing stupid stuff like not tanking.
I think that's a reflection of what they think of their ability to develop players. I think that maybe they just know, we're not very good at this drafting thing. Maybe we shouldn't do it. Let's just trade all of our picks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know. I mean, come on, right?
You saw them trying to develop Cam Johnson. He would go in and he would drop 40 and then be like, all right, you're not playing the next game. Spencer Dinwiddie.
Same thing.
Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert literally looked like when they got playing time early on in the career with the Brooklyn Nets, they could develop into be an all-star type player.
Even Cam Thomas has star power ability, and you just can't do it with the Nets.
Cam Thomas cannot even guard a traffic cone. That is his biggest issue. But yeah, he can score the ball better than most in the NBA.
And then he'll go 0 for 12 from the field, and that's his night.
Unreal.
It's the Nets are just so bad.
But I will say, I kind of want to hear from both of you guys.
Yeah.
Where do you think Cooper Flagg has maybe the best chance to succeed? Where do you
anywhere?
Anywhere. Let's try to stick to these 6 teams that actually have a chance.
Right.
I think for me, I don't want to see him go to the Wizards. We all saw what happened with the Wizards and John Wall, Bradley Beal. From 2010 to now, they won 3 playoff series.
So bad.
They're not going to get it done. The Jazz
franchise.
Don't seem like they're willing to spend the money to be a winning team.
Right.
I think the next team that I would actually want to see is maybe the Hornets or the Sixers. I think the Hornets are exciting and young right now, and I think the Sixers would be willing to spend money to support them.
My 2 favorites, I think, for storylines of the NBA, what you are saying about draft lottery being rigged is true, he'll go to the Sixers or the Pelicans. Look at the storylines. It adds up. Jared McCain was on pace probably to win Rookie of the Year if he doesn't get hurt.
Easily.
The way he was scoring the basketball, the way he was everything, all around, Jared McCain was one of the top rookies in the NBA. Little freshman, the Duke freshman who really stood out, teaming up in Philadelphia could be really cool for them. So that's a good storyline. I know you're like, hey, but I think the Pelicans just as well. I mean, when you think of top, most rated freshman, number 1 overall pick, Zion Williams played basketball at Duke University. So Zion Williamson, sorry, and the Pelicans could be a good spot to land for him too.
I want to see Cooper Flagg go to the Philadelphia 76ers. I want to see the Sixers trade Joel Embiid after they draft Cooper Flagg. I want them to move into a full rebuild once they get Cooper Flagg because Paul George is not going to get it done. You got Tyrese Maxey, who is one of the best up-and-coming guards in the NBA. You got Jared McCain. You add Cooper Flagg. Maybe see what Joel's there for a season, what that's like, but he's got to play the games. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if he will play the games next season enough to even be impactful next to Cooper Flagg. So, in my eyes, if I'm the Sixers, if I get Cooper Flagg, I'm moving Joel Embiid as soon as I can, and I don't really know who's going to take him. I think maybe Brooklyn would be stupid enough to take him. I think Portland would maybe be stupid enough to take him. But
why do you want why do you want the Sixers to move on so bad?
I mean, it's a train wreck.
Embiid doesn't play.
He doesn't play.
Paul George has to. I mean, he's even talked about it before.
Yeah.
Load up on drugs before he goes to play. He's
Like,
so
come
hurt
on.
this whole season. They're an injury-prone roster, and as much as really any NBA viewer loves to watch someone like Paul George in particular, such a silky smooth game.
Right.
I think he's kind of past, he's past his prime at this point, and I think now you can say the same thing for Joel Embiid as he reaches his 30s now.
It is sad how much injuries impact, the league as a whole, but like specific players, especially big guys. It's not necessarily something that they can control. Yes, they can take care of their body to an extent, but injuries are a part of the game, and it's something you got to live with. And if I'm the Sixers, the smartest thing you can do this offseason is move Paul George and move Joel Embiid, because that will set you up for greatness in the future, and maybe you can restart that process, because we saw their process did not process anything
and get a healthy Jared McCain back. I think that's really big for them. All right, as we move into the later half of the show, if you guys had to pick one team that's like a guaranteed first round exit, who would it be and why?
Well, you want to start West or East here?
Well, either. We don't have time for both.
I think I'll start in the West here, and I'm going to say the Grizzlies. I know who you're going to say, Austin, but I think the Grizzlies, I mean, they don't have a coach right now, right?
Yep.
And also, if they stay where they are, then their first round matchup is going to be the Lakers or the Nuggets.
Right.
That's a tough trip.
They're cooked.
They're not going to win either of those matchups. And also, you have to think about, with the play-in really creeping up in the West, they're one game ahead of the play-in, so they could fall into the play-in tournament.
Right.
They could even get bounced before the playoffs even start. So I think, without a doubt, for me, it's the Grizzlies.
And for you?
For me, this is so easy. The Houston Rockets are not winning a playoff series. They haven't been to the playoffs. The only people on that team who have been to the playoffs is Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. They're not going to win a playoff series. There's no way. You don't see a young team make their first ever playoff appearance when the team averages like 26 years old and go out and win in the first round.
You think they're probably going to get a 2 seed or a 3 seed? Do you think if they get the 2 seed, do you think they're going to get bounced by a play-in team?
100%, because they're going to play the Timberwolves or the Clippers.
I think
Those teams will dominate the Houston Rockets in the playoffs.
I think you underestimate the veterans they have on that team. They do have Fred VanVleet, as you mentioned. They also have Dylan Brooks. He's capable of bringing it defensively, and he can light it up on any given night, to be fair.
In my opinion, yes, Ime Udoka is a great coach in the league, but the regular season is not the same in any way, shape, or form as the postseason. They're not going to be able to run a gun like they do in the postseason, getting all those fast break dunks and layups and all that crap. Jalen Green's not going to be able to cherry pick at the end of the floor like he does half of the games that he plays. It's not going to happen. They're not going to win the first round matchup. We saw it with OKC in the first round. We saw it with any given team when they were young in the first round. The Philadelphia 76ers, their first playoff run, they didn't win. Like, it's a common denominator. The young guys, the young teams, they don't win the first round in the playoffs.
And then last question. If you had to pick a team to make a run, that's maybe not the 1 or 2 seed, maybe they're like a 4 or 5 or a play-in team, to make a run in this playoffs, who would it be?
I'm going to stay in the West here. I'm going to go with, the Lakers. I think that's kind of a cop-out. I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. He did it last season. He's so exciting, right? And he's able to step up in the big moments. I didn't mean to steal your answer.
I'm probably going to steal yours, but I want to give it because I really believe this. The Golden State Warriors, probably going to make a run as a 6 seed. Yeah. If they see like the Nuggets in the first round, I love the way they match up against them. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, I think, are just a great duo. I know you had them ranked in your top 5. What was it? Stars of A
talent duos.
So I love that Golden State team. A lot of experience in the playoffs there from them. I think they could go far.
Give me the Los Angeles Clippers. You got James Harden playing back at that all-star level that he is. Norman Powell is having the best season of his career. Zubac is having the best year of his career. They got Derrick Jones Jr. to go out and defend anybody out on that perimeter. And then you got Kawhi Leonard coming back into his own later on in the season. I talked about it on Above the Rim. This past 10 games or so, he's been averaging about 29 and 7. He's kind of back, and I would love to see them get into that 7th seed, and I want to see them beat the Houston Rockets in the first round.
Love it. All right. Well, boys, I appreciate you guys joining me. These are our Above the Rim guys, are hoops knowers, ball knowers. But no, always appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it here on Afterthoughts. Another episode done. We'll see you guys next week right here at 7 p.m.
Peace.
Hey, Roman numeral 23, my king is LeBron. If the ball is his, he take the score and make it multiply. 40,000 points and he's still going greatest of all.